All right, we're back, everybody. So my cup is mostly leather hard, at least this side is. This side could use a little bit more drying, but I want to finish off the lip. Okay, so if I have the lip, if I leave it flat like this, where it's got a pointy edge and a pointy edge on here, it's actually really hard to drink out of. So if you enjoy dribbling in front of people, where you're like, oh, oops, I dribbled, then fine, leave it that way. If you actually don't, because I want you to get a good grade. Okay, but I want to make this more rounded. So A, it's more comfortable for your lip, and B, it's less likely for you to dribble in public while you're drinking your water. Yay. Okay, now we're done with that. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to use my needle tool again, but I'm going to use the back end this time. Make sure it stays really clean through this whole process. It's super important that you support the outside of the cup, especially while you're doing the inside. If you're not supporting it, especially when you get to the area where your seam was, you'll probably split it. So support it from the outside. I'm just gently resting my hand on this. I'm going to hold my tool at an angle. So instead of straight up and down like this, I'm going to hold my tool at an angle so it's facing like farther in. And I'm going to rub the edge. So you can kind of see like this part is starting to look skinnier than the other part, and see how like it's angled now. So I'm going to do that all the way around. I want to try to keep it as even as possible. If it starts to turn a little bit gray as you're doing this, that's okay. It's just the aluminum from this kind of rubbing off. It won't actually affect your finished product when you fire it, or when it gets fired. It'll be fine. It gets covered up with glaze. Okay. So I've gone all the way around the inside. Now I'm going to go around the outside. So I'm going to hold it at an angle again. Instead of straight up and down, I'm going to hold it at an angle, and I'm going to go around the outside and do that. Now I am being a little bit more gentle on the outside because it's a little bit more difficult to support the inside than it is the outside, because our hands are not shaped like the inside of a cup, but they are kind of shaped like the outside of a cup. Weird. Okay, but I'm going to go all the way around outside. And sometimes, depending on how hard you do this, you will end up with a little ridge in the middle. That's okay. We're just going to smooth it out. Okay, once you get all the way around, make sure you've cleaned your tool. If you have any little clay boogies on there, just brush them off. Brush them off, keep your area clean, keep your project clean. It makes it so much easier. Okay, so now I'm actually gonna hold it like flat, and I'm gonna rotate as I go around. Okay, so I'm starting off flat to get rid of that edge, and then I'm rotating the tool so that I can really round off that edge. Okay, so you want to try to spend some quality time on this. If it's leather hard, this works really good. If it's not leather hard, then like if it's still really wet, if you try to do this the same day that you just like you're like, oh, I just got this clay out of the bag, Missy, like this becomes really, really, really difficult to do. So you want to have it be almost leather hard or leather hard when you do this step. And you're going to just roll it over. And you're trying to keep it as even as you can, and keep your tool as clean as you can, because you don't want to like spread clay boogies around the outside. But this will make it more comfortable when you go to put your mouth on it. So a couple things actually for that, like it's going to be rounder, so you will be less likely to dribble in front of people. But it also is compressing the clay. So it's aligning the clay particles and making the clay want to be smoother. So like it's actually burnishing the clay a little bit too, which just helps really make that lip of your tumbler feel nice and smooth. It just makes it way more comfortable. So you're just gonna keep going around till you get all the way around. Keep cleaning your tool off. That's what I'm doing when I'm not on camera. I'm cleaning my tool. And if you need to go over it a couple times, like if it's not working for you, just go over it a couple times. Not a big deal. Okay. All right. Okay. So now that I have it like mostly rounded and smooth, now's the time to look around the outside edge, see if you have any ridges that need to get, you know, blended off or anything, and just take your fingers and really kind of re-emphasize the smoothness of this and spend some quality time to make it look really nice. All right. So there you go. Thanks, everybody.